Hi, and welcome to Kidney Plugged In. The BC Newcom branch Warm the Soul initiative is back, and Kidney Foundation volunteers are busier than ever, packing up thousands of pairs of socks for in-person distribution to kidney care clinics and dialysis units in BC. This heart and foot warming initiative is volunteer driven and is just one example of the countless ways that our volunteers help the Kidney Foundation make a difference in the lives of persons living with kidney disease. And what better time to celebrate the Kidney Foundation volunteers than during National Volunteer Week, taking place from April 16th to the 22nd. In this episode, we'll introduce you to several volunteers who share the reasons behind their motivation to give of their time to help others. And in honor of NOTDA, National Tissue and Organ Donation Week, taking place from April 23rd to the 29th, we share with you 8 important facts about organ donation. All of this and more is coming up next, right here on Kidney Plugged In. Brenda, you have a fabulous group of volunteers here at the BC Newcom branch office. They're doing some work. Tell us about the campaign they're working on.
Yeah, we do have a great group of gals here today. We're pretty excited because they're our first group of volunteers in person in 3 years. So we're pretty excited that they're here, and they're a lovely group of ladies that are helping us with the Warm the Souls campaign, which is a campaign that we've been having in BC in limited places in the past few years. And it's about distributing socks to kidney patients through the kidney care clinics this year. So we have 5,000 socks going out to different locations in BC. We're pretty excited about that. And these lovely ladies are helping us put those socks together, and what they're doing is they're putting the sock together with the keeper card that gives them information about the Kidney Foundation and different things that they can get involved with, and then we're sending them off to the clinics, and we're pretty excited about it.
Each one of these pairs of socks represent a person in dialysis, so they're handled and packed with care.
So we're noticing on the boxes there's a lot of names of different places, from Victoria all the way to Prince George.
Yes, absolutely. And everywhere in between, like wherever there's a kidney care clinic, we're hoping to send out some socks to them. I don't know that we have enough for all patients across the board, but we have 5,000 socks that we're distributing out, so we're pretty excited about that. And we've gotten, great response from past years where the kidney patients really love the socks because their feet get so cold when they're in treatment, so we're pretty happy about it.
And you were mentioning a really interesting fact about this group of volunteers, that none of them are actually kidney patients, but they all have a connection to kidney disease. Can you tell us about that?
That's true. When we reached out to them, they had actually applied to volunteer with us a few years ago, but because of the restrictions of COVID and the fact that we weren't having in-person events, we couldn't put them to work. So when we reached out this time, they were pretty excited to come help us. And when I was sitting with them earlier today, we were just kind of all talking about how they were connected to kidney disease. And every single person in that room that is volunteering with us today is either a family member, a caregiver, or a friend of a kidney patient. So for me, that just really warmed my soul because they were helping in yet another way for the people that they love or that has passed from kidney disease. I know one of the gals was telling us that her dad would have loved getting a pair of socks, and I think you might have gotten that from her when you were chatting with them. But I mean, there couldn't have been a better title for this campaign, Warm the Souls, because it's warming souls all over the place, not only for the kidney patients, but for people like me who love to do things for the kidney patients in whatever way that I can do to help.
A real labor of love from these volunteers.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. You can just see it in their eyes when they talk about the loved one that they're either working or a caregiver for, or that they've passed. It just warms their heart to be able to do this for us. And we're really excited that they're here. They've been such a lovely group to work with and chat with and visit with and pack our socks with.
And speaking of the packing, you actually have some of the BC branch staff here. They're packing up the boxes. Where does it go from here?
From here, it will go, it's going to be a couple of different ways. We have some of the supplies, meaning the socks and the keeper cards and the letters that go in each of the boxes, going to our representatives in different parts of the province. Like in Prince George, we're sending them all of the supplies, and that group of folks up there are going to put the packages together for their clinics and deliver it to their clinics. We're doing the same thing on the island. There's a couple locations that representatives of the foundation that have been volunteering with us for a number of years are going to do the same thing. They're going to package them together and take them to the care clinics. When we don't have a representative that's able to take the socks into the care clinic themselves, we're going to ship them out directly to the care clinic, and all of the staff are aware that these socks are coming, and they're excited because they know how much it means to the kidney patients that they serve. It just warms their feet and it makes them feel nice and cozy. And the socks are awesome. They're through Putis, the sock manufacturer of Putis, and they're incredibly beautiful socks. So I think the patients are really going to enjoy them. They're really nice.
So it sounds like a province-wide campaign that's engaging volunteers, not just here, but
across
around the province.
Yeah, right across the province. And we're excited about that because we've kind of been dormant when it comes to volunteers, and it's only because the kidney community has had to be very careful with the patients and the people that we engage with because they're vulnerable. And as much as we wanted to engage last year, in particular for the kidney walk, they just weren't ready. And understandably, I mean, their lives are at stake when it comes to COVID. So we're pretty excited. People are a lot more comfortable going into this year. So we're seeing that we're able to engage our volunteers a lot more this year, and we're excited about that because we miss them. I mean, they've been the staple of who we are as a foundation. I mean, the foundation was built on volunteers. So we're pretty excited that we can engage them again this year.
Well, a wonderful campaign.
Yeah.
For a wonderful cause. So
Absolutely.
Congratulations on this very creative campaign.
Well, it started with a volunteer, and it started with a volunteer in Penticton. She worked for Sport Tech, and she knew as a kidney patient how cold her feet got, and so she was able to start this campaign in Penticton anywhere from 3 to 5 years ago, and it's just grown to where it is today of 5,000 socks this year, which is the most we've ever sent out.
And how great is that? A campaign by a patient, former patient, for patients.
Yeah, and a volunteer. She volunteers with us all the time. And I think that's why my love for this foundation is so strong, is because of the volunteers. They are such a special group of people and so supportive of what we do. We just can't say thank you enough. Like, we just can't express enough how important they are to us as a foundation. They really are incredible people, so we're very, very lucky.
Thank you so much, Brenda, for telling us about this.
You're very welcome, and thank you.
Lori, you're here today at the BC in Yukon branch office, volunteering for a new initiative. What are you doing here today?
Well, what I'm doing here today, Barbara, is I'm with some other women, and we're all putting together pairs of socks for dialysis patients. And so each box will have 50 pairs of socks that will go directly to dialysis patients, and they'll be sent all around the province of BC. So it's a really exciting project to be involved in, particularly because it benefits the patients directly.
And it's very creative, innovative, which is really cool. You know, being a national volunteer organization, the volunteers are the backbone of our organization. Yourself, is this your first time volunteering here at the Kidney Foundation?
Well, I've volunteered in other capacities, so I've done the kidney walk before, and and any opportunity I have to talk to people about kidney health is really important to me, specifically because many people have kidney problems and don't realize it, and it just takes a simple urine and blood test to get checked out. So I'm just really happy to be here today and offer some other help.
What motivates you to be a volunteer, to pick up that phone and decide, okay, I'm going to go out to those kidney walks, or I'm going to come into the office?
Well, I think I first found out about the Kidney Foundation through a family member that had kidney disease. And that was my grandmother. And she actually opted out of going for dialysis. So she did have kidney disease and eventually passed from it. My mother had kidney disease as well. And so my mother chose dialysis. And so my mother eventually passed from kidney disease as well. Although my mother really wanted people to know how easy it is to get tested. And she really wanted to know that the Kidney Foundation does a wonderful job of actually reaching out to the individual patients. It's not just an organization where you'd give your money to and then get a report at the end about different research that's done, although that's important as well. It's really important that the individual patients are met with whatever need they have at that moment. So in the dialysis unit that my mother went to, it was wonderful. They offered family members, water, tea, coffee, anything to make us feel comfortable, because families also are part of the progress of being with their loved one, and it can be very stressful for people, especially because it's quite unknown, right? And in dialysis, you're often seeing machines for the first time, and it can be very scary. So I loved the fact that they also were very attentive to my mother. In fact, there was one nurse named Roland, if he's ever watching. He came from Calgary to come out to BC to do a practicum. And my mother loved songs from the 50s, and he actually sang to her Elvis Presley songs at her bedside as he'd help her with her dialysis run. So I have a fond spot for the Kidney Foundation.
Thank you so much for coming out and volunteering today.
Oh, you're more than welcome. And I hope everybody who watches today goes for their blood and urine test.
Know your EGFR. That's
there you go. Know your
put on the screen.
EGFR.
Thanks so much, Lori.
Thank you.
Hi, Teresa. The Warm the Soul Initiative has teamed up with the Wellness Walking Challenge. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. So we have the pleasure of not only providing information on ways for kidney patients to connect with others so that they don't feel so isolated and alone, but we're also challenging them to do something good for their kidney health. So we know a regular walking routine provides many direct benefits for our kidneys. It helps us maintain healthy weights, lowers blood pressure, and keeps our blood sugar in check. All things that directly impact our kidneys. It also helps us strengthen bones and muscles, improves our sleep, and increases our energy level. Plus, walking can help us with our mental well-being. It helps reduce stress and anxiety and improves our overall outlook on life, or our quality of life, which is so important for those of us living with kidney disease.
So who can join the Wellness Walking Challenge?
So even though we're teamed up with Warm the Souls, anyone can join the Wellness Walking Challenge and get moving for their wellness. Whether you're new to walking or a seasoned pro, join the Wellness Walking community to receive tips from our experts, plus a chance to win some prizes. And watch for new videos from our clinical exercise physiologist for inside walking, so you can benefit from the comfort of your home for those days when you can't get outside. Plus, there's even a chair class that Riley did for those with limited mobility, so they can benefit from the Wellness Walking Challenge as well.
So Teresa, tell me, what does WhatsApp have to do with the Wellness Walking Challenge?
So we wanted a place where people could share their progress, whether they're tracking kilometers or miles or steps, doesn't matter. Share their photos and videos of their favorite walks, and even schedule meetups in their local community. So they could say they're meeting up at a park on Saturday and others could join them. As the community grows, we're hoping this will become part of the regular routine.
So what does the Kidney Walk have to do with this?
So we're inviting everyone to join the Kidney Walk and celebrate their wellness walking accomplishments. Connect with kidney families in your community, register, build a team, bring your friends and family, and join a passionate community that provides hope and support to those of us living with kidney disease.
Any final thoughts, Teresa?
Well, you can join by visiting Kidney Wellness Hub and find all of the information on all of these things. Look for it on the rotating banner at the top of the page, or it's also under our Staying Active tab. It's one of the major buttons on the bottom. So come on, take a stroll with us and join the Wellness Walking Challenge. We can't wait to walk alongside you and see all the beautiful sights you discover on your journey to wellness and meet you in person at the Kidney Walk. Join us on June 4th at your local Kidney Walk.
Joining us now is one of our wonderful volunteers from Penticton, who's been volunteering with the Warm the Soul campaign for a few years. Lois, welcome to Plugged In.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So Lois, you have been a Kidney Foundation volunteer for a few years now and involved in the Warm the Souls initiative. Can you tell us about that experience this year?
Sure. So I've actually been a volunteer with the Warm the Souls campaign, or involved with the Warm the Souls campaign from its inception. So there was a core group of volunteers here in Penticton that introduced the possibility of a Warm the Souls campaign. At that time, I was the manager of the renal program in Penticton, and I was approached to say, is this something we could do with the clients? And what do you think? And is it viable? And so I was able to work with the volunteers that first year, getting the Warm the Souls campaign established in Penticton, and then I have volunteered with them ever since. I've had a couple of friends join me, and I actually had one friend actively asking me, when are we doing the socks again this year? And so it is something that it does attract attention. It attracts volunteers because it's fun. You come together for a day. This year we sorted and packaged socks for all the renal clinics in the Okanagan area. In the past, last year we actually did socks for the whole province. So last year we sorted, packaged, labeled over 5,000 pairs of socks and had a blast doing it. This year, only sorting and labeling about 1,500 socks seemed like just a fun day of getting together with friends.
So Lois, 1,500 pairs of socks. That sounds like a lot to me. Can you walk us through the process? How does that day go?
Every year has been a little bit different. We had boxes of socks, and so what we do is we also have printouts of the various clinics and how many socks need to go to each clinic. So we take the socks out of the box, take them out of their plastic wrappers. We also have big bowls of rubber bands, and we attach an information sheet to each pair of socks, and then they get counted out and put back into the boxes. But now the boxes are labeled with each unit that they're going to. And so the kidney care clinics that they were going to this year, the staff at the kidney care clinics were expecting the boxes. They had been part of the planning process for how many pairs of socks each clinic needed. And so the kidney care clinic staff will now be receiving these boxes. We had a wall full of boxes, all sealed and labeled, and Canada Post was coming to do a pickup right from there to get them out and get them off on their way to their units that they were going to. So you do a lot of chatting. I mean, sometimes there's rubber bands break and they go flying, and there's little clips from the socks go flying, and you end up with this massive stack of socks that have labels on them, and they're almost to the point of cascading down. So then you start taking them off and packing them into boxes. So it's a little bit of a chaos until you kind of get the rhythm, but then it's just fun. You chat and pack and label, and you know that the socks are heading off to the kidney care clinics at the end of the day, and you know that those people will be receiving them at the kidney care clinics. They would be getting them when they come in for their clinic visits, and so they will be distributed over the next period of time as people come into clinic to get their visit done.
For you personally, Lois, what motivates you to give back year after year?
Being involved with the inaugural part of it, and seeing the enthusiasm of the volunteers as they coordinated that first Warm the Souls campaign, seeing the clients as they received their socks, they were happy. They got this little gift of recognition, and the Kidney Foundation is all about supporting the renal client in their journey. And it's a different way to support the renal client, but because some of the volunteers have experience on the patient side, they know that often when you're on dialysis or when you have kidney disease, your toes feel cold, like your extremities often feel cold. And so this is a very literal way of warming the souls. By giving them a pair of socks, quite a few of the dialysis clients kept their socks in their little dialysis bin and then put them on when they were settled onto their dialysis run. And it actually literally warmed their souls while they were on their dialysis runs. They also were quite happy to get that interaction with the volunteer, to hear a little bit about the Kidney Foundation, to get that small gift of something that was designed just as a way of helping that individual feel better as they go through their journey. The Warm the Souls campaign was a volunteer idea. It didn't come from the board, so these ideas on how to support people are being generated at the ground level by people who have an interest and often an experience within renal disease. It's a way too to respect their ideas, to bring them forward, to let them grow, let them develop, and see where they go.
And Lois, this you volunteer with the Warm the Soul campaign, but that's actually not the only volunteer capacity you're with the Kidney Foundation. Can you talk about, I think, the Kidney Walk you were saying?
Yeah, the first year I volunteered with the Kidney Walk, it was quite an eye-opening to see clients from the dialysis unit out with their families, and you're outside, you're in the sunshine, everybody's pumped up, the local sports teams are there doing their part, there's radio announcers, there's the silent auction with all that, so there's a lot of energy.
Oh, give ourselves a round of applause!
The third week of April is National Volunteer Appreciation Week. And Lois, what have you gained by being a volunteer?
Volunteers gain a lot of things. So one, as a volunteer and working with the group of volunteers here, we're only involved in a small part, but we can do that little part. And if everybody does a little part, it's amazing. Like when we came into 5,000 socks to sort, everybody in that volunteer group did a little part. And at the end of the day, it was done. And so coming together, which is a big thing of volunteering, is coming together as a community of volunteers and looking at a project that may seem intimidating, but you take it one small step at a time and you accomplish it at the end. And so knowing that there's somebody at the end of what you're doing is going to benefit from that is the big thing. It's not about me, it's not about what I can do on my own. It's about what I can do as a volunteer with the whole team of volunteers and throughout the BC Yukon. It's a huge amount of people, and all comes down to trying to support the renal patients as they go through the journey of living with kidney disease.
Let's see, so kidney is
These are my grandpa's kidney stones. They're very precious.
Kidney is a bone in your back that helps you turn. I don't know, to be honest.
They don't know kidneys are vital, do you? Get the facts at kidney.ca.
Hi, Shelley. You're here today at the BC Yukon branch with a group of volunteers that have come out today to support a very new initiative with the foundation. Is it your first time coming out as a volunteer?
Yes, it is, and I'm happy to be here. I brought my daughter with me also. My father was on dialysis for 7 years, and I thought it was a really good charity for me to get myself involved in, or with, yeah.
Was he dialyzed at a clinic?
Yeah, at a clinic. First at the hospital at RCH and then at the Tri-Cities in Coquitlam. And I was pretty hands-on with my dad, taking him to his treatments and picking him up. And yeah, and I just thought it was incredible, but my dad also adapted to the disease and it became part of his life. He didn't wallow in it. He just adapted, and everybody was great at the units. Pretty pleased.
Did your father eventually receive a transplant?
No, because he was in his late 70s when he went on dialysis, and then he passed away from the complications of it in his 80s. So he was on it for 7 years. So we had he was really well considering, because it's a good chunk of your time every week, 3 times a week. One thing too is my dad liked to travel, and with my family especially. So we provided dialysis for him in Hawaii, Las Vegas, and he was just so happy just for that he could go, so he could travel. Yeah,
So he enjoyed it.
it's a little bit of work, but it's and costly, but we were able to do that. So, and my father was a voracious eater, and that another thing too, he had to change his diet, and it was pretty difficult for him. But like I said, he adapted to his situation.
Well, Shelley, it sounds like volunteering is a labor of love, a way of giving back to.
Absolutely, 100%.
Well, thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
With the Kidney Foundation today, because volunteers are the backbone of what we do as a national volunteer organization. So your work is very much appreciated.
Oh, thank you so much.
Did you know one organ donor can save up to 8 lives?
You're more likely to need a transplant than you are to become an organ donor.
Donation is considered only after all life-saving efforts are made, and it's certain you will not survive.
So 2 physicians who are independent of both the donation program and of the transplant program must declare an individual neurologically dead before organ donation can proceed.
Any British Columbian who is 19 or older can register their decision about organ donation, and parents can register their children.
You only need to register your decision once.
A decal on your driver's license or care card is no longer enough.
Register or verify your decision about organ donation at transplant.bc.ca. And now you know.
And now you know.
And now you know.
And now you know.
Register your wishes through your provincial organ and tissue donor registry.